set to do battle tonight. Phoenix in first place in the Pacific Division, and Charlotte #1 in the Central, albeit for the Charlotte Hornets, they have lost 2 in a row and now have a narrow half-game lead over Indiana. Not only that, Doug Collins, but the Charlotte Hornets are facing a brutal 5-game stretch in their schedule right now.
Well, you know, Bob, in talking to Alan Bristow, I think the 2 games they lost, not so much the losses, but how it happened. They blew a 19-point lead here at home against Washington. Then they go to Milwaukee, get beaten on the boards by 17 and only force 7 turnovers. So the big thing here is their energy level. They need to get that rekindled. And the guy they're really looking to is Scott Burrell. He's really struggled at the small forward position. They need his athleticism, and they need him playing well.
Phoenix, a very interesting team. Paul Westphal says sometimes they're called team head case. he says it with a smile because they're in first place in the Pacific Division. But since the All-Star game, there's a little bit of trouble in Phoenix. They're only 9-6.
Well, they've gone through a lot of emotional things this year. They're playing very, very well, and then they lose Danny Manning. They go into the All-Star break. They recover. They get Kevin Johnson back, are playing great. Then they lose he and Wayman Tisdale the same night. So emotionally, they've struggled with guys in and out of the lineup. They really need to get themselves back on track because they have a brutal schedule, and they're trying to hold on to the #1 seed. So emotionally, it's important for them to get back to being the Phoenix Suns once again.
It's well documented that Phoenix does not have the marquee center, and that defensively they could be vulnerable in the middle. Alonzo Mourning is playing great. What are they going to do with him?
Well, they got to hope that their strategy that worked in Phoenix will work tonight. That was double teaming off Muggsy Bogues, forcing Alonzo Mourning to give the basketball up, because you can see what Alonzo's done in the last 12 ball games. On that Sunday afternoon in Phoenix, Muggsy shot an uncharacteristic 3 for 16. So look for them to try to get the ball out of his hands and force other people to beat them.
At forward, 6'6" from Central Michigan.
The leaders of the division leaders, Charles Barkley of the Phoenix Suns being introduced, and Alonzo Mourning. Both of them have played well since the All-Star break. Alonzo, 27 points a game, his average since then, and Barkley, 28 points a game. And there's the lineup. And Doug, interesting matchups here in this game.
Well, I think what you're going to see is interchangeable matchups. You're going to see Marley play Hawkins some, or Burrell. I think Person the same way. So with a lot of cross-matching and fast breaks, you're going to see those guys match up because basically all of them are the same size.
Starting lineups brought to you by Microsoft. The coaches, they're good ones. Paul Westphal, laid back, and he's the kind of man who can coach a very talented team, which is exactly what he has. Alan Bristow was under a lot of fire when he took over as head coach of the Hornets. He's done a whale of a job. He's got his team in first place in the Central Division, albeit by only half a game over Indiana. Danny Shays, Alonzo Mourning, jump it, Charlotte ball. Muggsy Bogues without a backup tonight. Michael Adams is out with a strained calf. Mourning. Barkley with the rebound.
Now remember, Danny Shea's not a shot blocker, but look for him to try to draw a lot of offensive fouls. He frustrates big men when they try to lower their shoulders. So let's see if you can do that with Zoe tonight.
Marley looking to get it inside. They're trying to post Kevin Johnson against Bogues. That's tougher done than said. Shays from 18 misses. Mourning with a rebound. Both Mourning and Barkley leading their teams in rebounds with over 10 apiece per game. Burrell with the drive, the offensive board, the pass. Larry Johnson has it blocked by Shays. Timeout, Phoenix. Kevin Johnson got the 20-second call before he landed. You love that rule.
Yeah, I'm going to get up on my soapbox right now and say, you know what? I don't think a guy should be able to do that if he's going to land out of bounds. Now, I know that the league will say, well, hey, he used a timeout up or a 20. I just think that's a possible change of possession you should play on there.
But it does reward athleticism, though. For instance, Charles Oakley, who's not the greatest jumper in the world, would have landed before he'd have called.
Yeah, that's, you know, KJ was trying to hang in the air there, and he gets the quick timeout, and it'll be a 20-second timeout, so now Phoenix has none the rest of the half.
Speaking of KJ, he missed a couple of games with a strained groin. It really brought this team down when he got injured again after missing 33.
Well, you know, he's their outside attack, and Charles Barkley's their inside attack, and as well as Elliott Perry has played, they still need KJ on the floor, and you'll see a lot of those guys together.
Wesley Person missing from long range. He's the rookie from Auburn. Muggsy Bogues pull up over Kevin Johnson. Barkley inside of Larry Johnson for the rebound.
Well, you can tell it's a big game. Both teams a little tight in their shooting.
Charlotte 0 for 4 to start, make it 0 for 5. Phoenix now missing, and here comes Charlotte trying to break the 0 for 4 streak. Percy Hawkins to Larry Johnson, posted against Barkley. Marquee matchup down there.
See, the three-point shooting of Charlotte will really come into play when guys sink and they move the ball around the perimeter.
4 to shoot. 2. Larry Johnson. Charlotte's 0 for 5. Marley rebounding.
Very indecisive set that time by Charlotte. Larry Johnson held it a little bit too long, and then when he got it back, he had to take the quick fade away.
Kevin Johnson, the drive, the dish to Shays. And for two high-scoring teams, it's only 2-0 after 2 minutes have been played. Muggsy Bogues ties it at 2.
Everybody talks about amazing players in the NBA, and they forget about Muggsy Bogues. This guy is a phenomenon in this game. He averages over 9 assists and less than 2 turnovers. He's a sensational basketball player.
Pick and roll, Shays inside, missed the layup. He was intimidated by Mourning standing behind him. Tied at 2. Burrell.
That's a big shot. He has really struggled, Bob. He got off to such a great start. The new three-point line has been so good to him. He's over 40%. Last year only took 6. This year he's taken over 200 threes. That'll maybe provide some energy for this team.
Burrell's only 1 for 8 the other night. He was in our all-star three-point shootout, though. He's an excellent long-distance shooter.
He got 3rd in that competition.
5 to shoot. Kevin Johnson's open. Rebound, Hersey Hawkins. Bogues pushing, lobbing, Mourning. Missed the layup, Shays rebounding. Wesley Person off the break on the right wing gets the lay-in.
They like to see him get going early, Bob, too. He's one of these younger players, and what younger players have a tendency to do is when they shoot well, play better, and when they're not shooting well, they get lost out there. They drift a little bit.
Mourning. Hawkins. Air ball. Kevin Johnson. He was out with a knee, then with a strained groin. Also had quadricep problems this year. Barkley tossing up his usual first quarter three-point attempt, missing, and intercepting the intended pass for Larry Johnson. First turnover of the ball game. Marley left alone underneath, and he draws the foul. Scott Burrell with his first personal. Dan Marley sometimes starts at forward, sometimes AC Green starts at forward, depends on whether they want to go big or small, and Paul Westphal has chosen to start small against a relatively small Charlotte team.
Yes, he went small tonight, and had he gone big, had he gone with AC Green, Alan Bristow told us he would have started Joe Wolf instead of Scott Burrell tonight. So both these coaches were contemplating some changes. They stayed with their original teams, and they both decided to go small. Neither one of these teams are good rebounding teams. That would be their Achilles heels right now in the playoffs, is the fact that both teams get hammered on the boards. Charlotte gives up a lot of offensive rebounds.
Hornets 5-4, 8 minutes to go first quarter. Bogues missing. Barkley rebounding. He has 4 early. Tried to hit Kevin Johnson. Bad pass. Bogues. Larry Johnson. He's fouled. Wesley Person got it.
This game absolutely has no rhythm to it right now. We've had turnovers. We've had missed shots. And you can see that Phoenix is adjusting once again to Kevin Johnson being back in the lineup. And Charlotte has been knocked on their heels here a little bit the last couple ball games. And I think they're sort of a little questioning right now who they are at this particular time.
Larry Johnson, a 77% free throw shooter. You see neither team scoring well early. Remember, Phoenix, the leading scoring team in the NBA at 111.3 per game.
See, Charlotte's a great shooting team. They're #1 in free throws, and here's a long pass. And
Barkley to Marley, touchdown.
Now, see, Barkley had just thrown one away, and he's a guy that'll take chances. He throws one a touchdown pass this time, and Hersey Hawkins just got caught with his back to the basket.
Hornets by 1. Marley with the steal. Out to Barkley, look out. Blocked by Larry Johnson. That brought them to their feet at the Hornet. At the Hive here in Charlotte. Johnson answers quickly. Mourning.
Those are the energy plays that will get this team going. That's what they need. Larry Johnson has blocked only 23 shots all season long, but that's the kind of play that this team needs.
Marley doing one of the things he does best, and that's penetrating, but he misses the left-handed layup attempt. Hornets by 3. Chance to build on the lead. Kevin Johnson, great athlete that he is. Looks like his groin's okay. But He misses Person on the pass. Instead, he threw the ball to the Phoenix bench, and we have a timeout on the floor. 6:50 to go in first quarter. Disjointed first quarter. Hornets by 3.
Want the good stuff, PN2.
It was Alonzo Mourning's first basket. He has 2 points. Phoenix only 3 of 11. Charlotte only 3 for 10. Phoenix with 2 turnovers. Charlotte with 3 already.
It's already been 17 rebounds in this game. That tells you a little bit about the shooting.
It's going to distort their stats, huh?
Little mismatch here with Wesley Person playing him.
Bogue sees the lane open. And then he saw Danny Shays.
Clock winding down once again.
2 seconds to shoot. Larry Johnson with a turnaround baseline jumper that will fall, and Larry has 4 points. And a 5-point Hornets lead. Barkley's turnaround jumper will go down.
Bob, that was the most assertive play that Charles has made. He got it quickly, he went with it, he had a nice fadeaway jump shot, and he buried it. He's been holding on to the ball a little bit here in this first quarter.
Larry Johnson using his strength to get inside. Back Charles Barkley right off the block.
No shot blocking at all by Phoenix. Their leading shot blocker was Danny Manning, a little over 1. He's out. Now Charles Barkley's the leading shot blocker. He's only blocked 33 shots on the season.
Shays from 19 feet, the assist to Kevin Johnson. 13-10 Charlotte.
One of the things that Phoenix big men can do, they can shoot the ball. Joe Klein also has that same kind of range.
Larry Johnson, they're going to keep going to that well. This time he spots Hawkins. Misses from long range. Bogues with a long rebound. Larry Johnson for 3. That's about, what, 1.5 maybe. Kevin Johnson.
I would not give either team an A for shot selection, except that. I like that shot selection.
How about pass selection?
That was better, but both these teams right now, I think, settling for the easy shot. They're really not working to execute the plays and get the shots that they want to get. They're allowing the defense to force them to take tough shots.
Kevin Johnson, 3 assists already. 1 point Hornets lead. Quick move inside. Wave off the basket, though. Alonzo Mourning spins in, and Danny Shays had to foul.
I've always loved Alonzo Mourning's game. He's got power, he's got strength, he's got quickness, and he's a fierce player. That time he got the foul, and what he's going to have to do is use his quickness against Danny Shays. Danny Shays will leave the ball game right now. AC Green comes in, so they go smaller. Elliot Perry comes into the game.
Remember Kevin Johnson coming off the strained groin. He missed a couple of games. They want to take care of him early on. The drive is missed by Hersey Hawkins. Here's Elliot Perry, used to play for Charlotte.
He's had a sensational season. I think he really helped this team with all the injuries have the kind of record. You know, Bob, they have a better record at this time this year than they did last year, even with all the injuries.
Wesley Person misses the 3. Bugs has Muggsy Bogues has him running. Burrell has hit 2 3-pointers in this game. He has been in a big shooting slump and is out of it early.
That's why I talked about him in the opening. I just think that they need him. He will energize this team. He'll give them that athletic small forward that they need out there to match up against the guys in the East that they're going to be facing in the playoffs.
Barkley over Larry Johnson doesn't go. Here comes Bogues. Larry Johnson gets the pass. Tip-in doesn't go. Mourning battles it back in the board. Mourning has 4 points. Hornets back to a 6-point lead.
I like that.
That's
move.
goaltending.
I like that by Wesley Person. People get up on him. They're playing him for the 3-point shot. A long stride. He goes to the left. He finishes. And although the shot is goaltended, I like this assertiveness on the young guy. That way they're going to have to respect his drive. It'll free up his outside shooting a little bit more.
Hornets by 4.
See, he right now he's feeling it. You know,
Burrell misses this one. He's 2 for 4.
That was a confident shot, though.
Johnson sticks it back in there, and LJ has 8 early. Larry Johnson had a bad game last time Charlotte played.
You know, he's playing against Charles Barkley now, so he's excited. This is a game, you know, he only sees Charles twice a year.
Hawkins with the steal, then the turnover, the unforced error. Perry to Marley. 3 minutes to go, first quarter. Low scoring for these teams.
AC Green's got a mismatch. He's got Scotty Burrell on him that can go inside and post him, but there's Person once again on the drive.
And count it. And he'll go to the free throw line for a 3-point opportunity. 6 points for Wesley Person. We have a timeout on the floor. A hive, a Hornet hive in Charlotte. Hornets are up by 4. They're playing well this quarter, but they haven't the previous 5.
Well, this was that low-energy rut that they had gone through the last 5 quarters where they blew the 19-point lead to the Bullets, and you see they've gotten smacked on the offensive boards, 21-6, 21 total rebounds in 5 quarters, and they've only forced 8 turnovers. And we've seen tonight they've already forced some turnovers. They've got six offensive rebounds tonight. And when you get offensive rebounds, that tells you you're being aggressive and you're being active. And I think if you're Alan Bristol, you have to like what you see here. Scotty Burrell's hit a couple threes. And Zoe and Larry Johnson have established themselves inside.
That foul, by the way, before we went away to the timeout, was on Scotty Burrell. That's 2 on him. He is staying in the game, but Charlotte has substitutions. Del Curry and Joe Wolf in the game for the Charlotte Hornets.
Well, Del Curry, again, in the running for the 6th Man of the Year award. This guy has been instant offense off the bench in his years here in Charlotte, and he's playing very, very well once again this season. If he hits that first one, look out.
A near steal for Elliot Perry. He's been among the league leaders in steals all year. Not this time, though. 11 on the shot clock. 7 seconds. You see it down in the lower left. Burrell, his 5th three-point attempt, and he's hit 3. 9 points for Burrell, all from beyond the arc.
It's amazing what happens when you hit that first shot. It's like a load is lifted off your back, and pretty soon every shot you take is confident. Even the ones you miss look good.
Pick and roll with AC Green. With his experience, he pulled up to avoid the defense and rolls it in. 23-19 Hornets.
See, I think you got to go inside the morning against AC Green. Either get the double teams or free up a 3-point shot for Burrell or Curry. And get the ball inside to your big man. He'll create offense for you.
There it is in the morning. 8 on the shot clock. Double team. Open man. Bogues. Probably wishes he had taken it. Throws it out of bounds, intended for Joe Wolf.
See, they're going to give Muggsy that shot. They're going to bank on. They're going to get to Curry on the rotation. They're not going to leave Burrell, and they're going to force Muggsy to hit that outside shot. Now, he's missed a couple to start the ball game.
So he didn't want to take that one.
So he didn't want to take that one, and you end up having with a turnover. You got to take the shot.
AC Green on the pick and roll. That's 2 pick and rolls in a row that AC Green has been relatively open inside, and he has back-to-back baskets. Hornets lead cut to 2.
Again, let's see with Muggsy Bogues. If they rotate, they're going to go right to Burrell. They'll get to Curry. They're not going to worry. They'll play way off Muggsy Bogues.
Perry is all over Curry. They just keep giving it back to him until he got his shot. Rebound, Barkley. He has 5 early in this game.
Phoenix game plan is very good right now, and they're executing it very well defensively when they go inside.
Person on the drive, hands it off to Green. Green is 3 out of 3 on 3 near layups, and it's tied at 23. The Suns on a 6-0 run inside a minute in the first quarter.
Bob, how about the fact that Wesley Persons put the ball on the floor in this first quarter and taken it twice and got scores? This time he creates a layup for AC Green.
I hadn't seen him do that very much all year long until tonight.
There's the inside out, and Del Curry misses the 3, but that's a good inside out move.
Chance for the Suns to take the lead here after really stuttering off the block. Barkley, count it, 3-pointer for Charles. 26-23 Phoenix.
Now, why did he shoot that? He wanted to get 2 for 1. There's a 10-second differential, so the Suns will get the last 2 shots of the 2-1 in the last quarter, in the first quarter. Excuse me.
Phoenix on a 9-0 run. Charles trying to tie his shoestrings, a defensive lapse. Charles tries to get a 3-pointer in the first quarter of every game.
And he does, and he comes down and he says, okay, look, I'm going to take this shot, and when I shoot this, there's going to be 34 seconds on the game clock. That's going to give us 10 more seconds once we get the ball back, and we're going to get a 2 for 1, and that's exactly what we want to do at the end of the quarter. Clock
Richard
management.
Dumas back in, and Richard Dumas, of course, who had been suspended for violating the NBA drug policy, is back in, and we understand from Paul Westphal that he can't give him a lot of minutes early.
He thought 3 to 4 minutes a half, but you know what? Knowing Westy, he might play him 12 minutes a half tonight. You just, based upon how Richard Dumas plays when he gets out there, we know the young man can score. I think the big thing, like you said, is his conditioning and if he's in sync with what they want to get done.
25 seconds to go in the first quarter. 2-point lead for the Phoenix Suns. Bogues, who's nearly a 90% free throw shooter, just got 1 out of 2 that time. 1 second difference in the shot and game clock. as you see it on the bottom of your screen.
How would you like Muggsy Bogues up underneath you like that? Just pestering you the whole night. You'd want to slap him to get you away.
Marley misses from long range. Out of bounds with less than a second to go in the quarter. You know, Hornets, good nickname for Muggsy Bogues because it must be very much like a Hornet.
I guess.
It's fun to watch him when bigger guards, and they're all bigger, post him. He gets under their knees down there, and they have a difficult time posting him up.
Well, you can't move, and the ball is loose, and he seems to get to every loose ball.
That's about a 60-footer that goes about 56 feet in the air. And the Suns escape the first quarter with a lead of 26-24. They close the quarter out with a 9-0 run. Charles Barkley with 6 rebounds early. AC Green also has 3 baskets in a row. They are 9 of their last 12, credit 3 in a row to AC Green.
Well, he does a nice job, too, of executing on the screen roll, and you're going to see what's happened. He gets a screen roll, and this time he comes over, and we're going to stop it right here. He starts to set the screen, reads it, and then slips and goes right to the basket. Joe Wolf gets caught. He gives him a little bump and goes in for the layup. So AC Green 6 points in 5 minutes, 3 for 3, gave him a nice lift off the bench.
Suns by 2. Opening moments, second quarter. See the field goal percentage. Suns started out only 3 of 11, then hit 9 of 12 to increase that to 52%. Barkley left open.
Nice little back pick that time. Charles stepped up. Back pick for Dumas. He went over the top. They helped, and they threw right inside to Charles for the easy layup. That's a well-executed play.
I told you Michael Adams is out with a strained calf, so Wingate is having to relieve Muggsy Bogues at the point guard position tonight. That'll be a problem. Larry Johnson missing it, 3-on-1. Barkley throws it down.
Look at that shot
pulled
clock.
down the shot clock.
Wow.
Good call, Doug. 6-point Suns lead.
See, if I'm Elliot Perry right now, I get up all over Wingate, and I try to disrupt them and force Alan Bristow to bring in Muggsy Bogues, keep him as tired as possible, get up on him and disrupt the offense.
5 to shoot. We have a whistle away from the ball. It's on AC Green.
Watch the power of Charles Barkley. Listen to it and watch the shot clock vibrate. I thought it was going to come down. Put your hand up there and stop that.
Almost broke our tape recorder. Wingate. Wolf. There's David Wingate, of course, out of Georgetown. He's more of a 2-guard. Having to fill in at the point for Muggsy Bogues. That time a nice dish. It's a 4-point Suns lead. Got a foul here on Joe Wolf. Wolf has been attacked since he's entered the game.
Well, you know, Joe Wolf gives them nice spot minutes off the bench, and he's been a nice player for them. You know, we ought to talk a little bit probably about Kenny Gaddis. Here's a guy whose career they thought was going to be over.
Spinal surgery.
6 weeks ago, they think they might have him back to the playoffs. That would give them a big lift. Both he and Robert Parrish would give them 2 big bodies, veterans coming off the bench.
Kevin Johnson down inside again. Richard Dumas. That's what we're talking about. As Cotton Fitzsimmons, who's still an executive with the Suns, former coach, told us he's an instinctive kind of ball player, and even without being out of shape or out of practice, he can still score. Wingate. Rebound AC Green. Kevin Johnson.
See Kevin Johnson and Elliot Perry playing together now, so you got 2 guys that can really penetrate
like that.
And what you do now is you're Alan Bristow. You've got both your point guard out of the game right now, trying to get him a little rest.
Hawkins with the foul.
So you see the penetrating drive here. Kevin Johnson now playing the 2-guard, has the quickness over Hersey Hawkins. So the Hornets are in a little bit of a bind here matchup-wise. How much rest can they get Muggsy Bogues? They do not want to dig themselves too big of a hole here. They're down 9 now with 9:58 to go in the second quarter. And this is a team now that's been reeling with 2 losses. And the home crowd here, not quite as kind as they were a few years ago when they were just an expansion team.
Well, they're expecting big things here. 9-point deficit for Charlotte. Curry from 8 feet away. And Bogues is up. You see him at the top of your screen there. He'll be back in the game in just a moment. Elliot Perry used to be property of the Hornets. Boy, would they like to have him right now. He couldn't do that when he was here, though. He did not have a good perimeter game. Drains the three, and that's been the biggest change in Elliot Perry's game.
You know what he did, Bob, is we see Curry with a nice drive.
Right by Perry.
But what Elliot Perry did was he really worked in the summer. He had too much of his offhand, which would be his right hand, in his shot. He really worked on that. He improved his shooting. So, you know, just a word that you can always improve your shooting if you want to really work at it, and he's done that.
10 to shoot. Perry.
There it is once again, right on cue.
Rims out of there. Dumas with the foul over the back, rebound to Hersey Hawkins. That was the first Suns miss in the second quarter. They were 5 of 5 till Perry missed that. There's Kenny Gaddison. He's back on, technically on the 12-man roster, but still not ready to play.
Well, they put Michael Adams down, and you can only have 3 guys on the roster on the injured list. You see Michael Adams there, so they had to activate Kenny Gaddison, but he will not play.
Curry misses. Wolf with the offside rebound, but they're probably going to get him with a push-off. And they do. That's 2 fouls on Wolf. By the way, Danny Ainge has checked into the ball game for the Phoenix Suns. Danny will be 36 years old tomorrow. He came over before the game, said his brother called, and has accused me of saying that Danny bit Tree Rollins in the incident at Boston Garden several years ago. And Danny says, look at the scar. Tree Rollins bit my finger, not his. So the record has been set straight. Kevin Johnson with the basket and the foul. That was Wingate. At the conclusion of tonight's game, Doug and I will select the Budweiser player of the game. Basket did not count. Wave it off. Charles Barkley. Charles has 13, a chance for 14, and the Suns have a 10-point lead.
Well, one of the problems the Hornets have is when Alonzo Mourning sits down, they have no shot blocker. Larry Johnson, not a shot blocker. He's blocked 24 on the year right now. And if you look at the block shots, Alonzo Mourning has blocked 184 of the team's 321 shots. So when he sits down, that interior defense gets rather porous. As a result, they're down 10 right now with a chance to go down 11. And Alan Bristol says, I'm getting Alonzo Mourning back on the floor.
It's Burrell and Curry, Muggsy Bogues, Alonzo Mourning on the floor with LJ. Barkley misses from the free throw line. 10-point Phoenix lead, 8.5 to go in the first half from the Charlotte Coliseum. Charlotte, the Central Division leading Hornets. Phoenix leading in the Pacific. Batted away by A.C. Green.
Bad entrance pass that time by Del Curry. Had a horrible angle, and he just threw the ball right to the defender instead of away from him. He was easily knocked down by A.C. Green.
Charlotte going to have to get some of that defensive intensity that they've actually improved on this season, but not playing it so far here tonight. 5 to shoot, illegal defense, the call on Charlotte. Charles Barkley backs in, waits for it, and then calls the illegal defense, all in the same move.
When you're a superstar in this league, the way the rules are written now, one of the things you have to do is you have to referee illegal defense. And look at him, says, come here, come here, come here. If you're not going to come here, that's going to be illegal. And he's just waiting, and then he gets the illegal defense. So you got to be able to have the patience to legislate that and win your case.
Legislate, politics, Alabama, governor, you know.
Charles said, no more governor. He said, too many skeletons in the closet.
7 to shoot. Burrell misses from three-point land. Loose ball is run down by Mourning.
Bob, they got to get Mourning involved in the game. They have really just totally gone away from him here in this first half.
Elliot Perry with a turnover. That's rare. Phoenix third turnover. And Alonzo Mourning only 1 for 5. One reason is he's been shooting some shots like that.
He's not getting his shots in rhythm. And what they need to do is they need to go inside to him, let him get the double team, kick it back out, and then go right back into him once again. And he can score against Shays. Now get the double team, kick it out, now throw it right back in or get the 3. And Curry's been off here in this first quarter. He's not shot the ball well.
Wouldn't mind seeing him go back in again.
Yeah, throw it back in. Give the guy another touch. It's almost with big guys now, they feel like if they give the ball up, they won't ever get it back again, so they end up taking bad shots.
Kevin Johnson, a nightmare when he's on that stutter dribble. And because he draws the defense, he finds Danny Shays out 18 feet away. And it's now a 12-point Suns lead, the biggest of the game. Timeout Charlotte, and it's been, what, about a week and a half since the Charlotte Hornets have been able to score. 22 42-30, a 25-7 run for Phoenix the last 7.5 minutes. Charlotte hasn't scored in the last 2.5.
Let's talk about, Bob, what penetration will do. Here's Alonzo Mourning, and as Kevin Johnson starts to drive, Alonzo's instincts are he's going to track the basketball, and he's going to come down, and here's the double team. And what do? As a shooter, you work in behind the ball where they can find you. Shays does a great job of that. He helps KJ, and he's the recipient of an open jump shot. That's what the Phoenix centers will do. Make open shots. You will not see them posting. They will work in behind the penetration of the guards and get the open jump shot when the big man sinks to block shots.
Shays 3 for 6 from the floor, has 6 points. There's the run last 7.5 minutes. 25-7. Charlotte can't get it in the hoop. Now they're going inside the Mourning.
You have to. You've got to go in. You've got to punish people inside. If you fall in love with the outside jump shot too soon, you forget that you've got a great weapon in there in Alonzo Mourning, who's been playing great basketball.
Utah behind on the road. Very unusual for the Utah Jazz this year. Cleveland up by 2.
See, now Muggsy's got to make some jump shots too. He is not confident in his shot right now. We've seen him miss a free throw.
The team does not look confident, Doug.
Well, that's what'll happen to you. You know, you get a little bit of a lull, or you lose a couple ball games. You go to Milwaukee, you get spanked. You lose a 19-point game at home, and you start questioning yourself. And they need a good, strong, solid quarter. There it is. Go back inside once again.
And
inside,
draws the foul again. That's 3 on Shays. If Shays, in fact, is called for it, he is. That's 3 on Shays. Charles Barkley about to come back in here for Phoenix. Hornets still haven't scored, however.
Remember I told you Shays would try to draw the foul. He's going to hold his position, see, and he's going to flop back. And they will not give him that call against Alonzo Mourning at that time. Now, in a nationally televised game here about 2 weeks ago on a Sunday, he fouled out, I think, Shaquille O'Neal, or got him in serious foul trouble and really frustrated him. And we saw him do the same thing on a TNT game to Hakeem Olajuwon the other night when we had Phoenix on the road in Houston and they won a big game.
Well, now you've mentioned all the networks, NBC, TNT, and, of course, tonight.
Just try to work for them all. What were we, TBS tonight? I forgot. Bob, don't test me like that.
Check
under
your
pressure.
airplane ticket. Mourning at the free throw line, and Charlotte finally gets 2 points because Phoenix went over the limit. So Charlotte will be shooting free throws the next 6.5 minutes. Phoenix with a small lineup of Barkley, AC Green, Ainge, Perry, and Johnson. Very small.
That's why you've got to pound it inside this list. 6.5 minutes. Get to the free throw line. You're the best free throw shooting team in the league as we see KJ bury the outside jump shot.
4 points, all of them coming in this quarter. 12-point Suns lead, 6:10 to go first half. Now they're posting up Larry Johnson. There's the double team.
That's all right. Go back inside. That 3 will be there whenever you. Oh,
That was a poorly designed pass, as Elliot Perry will come off the block and steal that ball anytime you come cross court with it. He'll take a shot at it.
that lazy, flat pass cross court. If you're going to throw that, you better have some steam on it, especially with the quickness of Elliot Perry. We see he's 5th in the NBA in steals. And again, Bob, I don't think we can give him enough credit for what he meant to this team when Kevin Johnson was out and all the injuries they went through to start this year. Remember, Barkley was out also. So they were without Barkley and KJ. And this guy at one point in time was in the top 15 in like 4 statistical categories when he was playing 35, 36 minutes.
And he leads the league in socks. Height of socks.
Yeah, here's the games missed. KJ at 35, Tisdale at 14 and counting, Barkley at 13, and Danny Manning is out for the season.
Do we have a list on the height of socks in the league? Perry now with 5 points, 4 assists. Bogues splitting the defense, but having nowhere to go with it.
Oh,
Another one, 2 in a row from Perry.
look at that unselfish play. Nobody ran back except Burrell. Everybody gave up on the play and listened to the fans booing.
Is it the Sox? Perry with 2 steals. Suns 48, but more importantly, the offensive-minded Suns are holding the Charlotte Hornets here at the Hive to only 32 points.
They are not getting into anything crisply, and Elliot Perry reading the passing lanes very well. You see Muggsy Bogues is not going to shoot the basketball. He's trying to give it up, and Elliot Perry is reading that very well. And again, the thing that jumps out to me there, Bob, is Elliot Perry breaks out. Scotty Burrell tracks him down, forced him to pass it back, and there wasn't one other Charlotte Hornet in the picture. You have got to hustle back.
Boy, having Perry and KJ on the floor at the same time is explosive. 9 of 11 the Suns this quarter. Hornets have hit only 3 field goals in 8 attempts, but they won't miss those, as Doug was pointing out. Get it inside, pound it inside. There's a small lineup.
Now they've got to do it on the defensive end, though. They're playing 3 guards, and Danny Ainge right now is playing small forward.
There's the penetration by KJ again, drawing the foul again. Del Curry got him his second.
See, I think that Muggsy Bogues has got to play KJ, and Del Curry has got to play Elliot Perry. That time, Del Curry got caught playing Kevin Johnson, who's more of an offensive player. I think you're going to see Alan Bristow now go to his bench and come back in with Hersey Hawkins. But they've got to get this penetration under control because KJ and Elliot Perry are getting to the basket at will.
The various parts of the body that were injured, you see there. Rib, knee, quadricep, groin. Kevin Johnson missed 35 games this year.
Well, the sad part about that is when Kevin Johnson is playing, he's definitely one of the top point guards in the game. He's one of the combination guys now that can give you 20 points and 10 assists.
I want to predict something right now. Phoenix hates a big lead. They will let Charlotte back in this game.
Well, you know, Charles will get a little disinterested. He will do that. He will look for him. In fact, he might step out and shoot a 3 this time down the floor. They got a 16-point lead. He might feel like it's his time to launch one up.
Everybody's going to step out and shoot a 3. There's not one guy inside the arc. So Perry shakes and bakes, misses.
When it goes against you, it goes against you. 2 Hornets there knock the ball loose. But what Phoenix is doing here is whoever the bigger guard is playing either Perry or KJ, they're playing one-on-one basketball for that guy. They're letting him isolate and go one-on-one. That time it was Elliot Perry against Hawkins. But go back inside, get something inside.
They're looking for Larry Johnson posted against Charles Barkley.
See, I don't think that's a good post-up play. I mean, Barkley's the same size, and Charles is going to be able to go back. That time they get the foul, but I think you got to keep going. Alonzo Mourning against AC Green.
That's the first on Kevin Johnson. By the way, the NBA on TNT continues Tuesday at 8 Eastern Time. Phoenix in Orlando. And Doug and Gary Bender will be down in the Sunshine State. 8 o'clock Tuesday, TNT. Back on TBS next Thursday. The Hornets are back with the Magic.
Why don't I just stay down there? They could just keep me down to Orlando for 3 or 4 days. I could deal with that.
Because life is not fair.
Oh, okay. You know, Chuck could play golf a little bit, and I could just stay down there for a while.
I haven't called you Chuck Winston.
You've thought it, though. That's scary.
Yes, I have. But particularly when you're really getting some brilliant coaching. That was a lane violation. Larry Johnson will take the free throw again and a chance to cut into the Phoenix 15-point lead. We have 4:33 remaining in the first half of play from Charlotte, North Carolina. Very knowledgeable fans here. That's not a surprise. Of course, it's in the heart of ACC basketball country.
See the isolation again with KJ going to the basket against Hersey Hawkins.
4 on 3.
There's the guy you go to right there. They can't stop that. They can't stop it.
Mourning against Barkley. Alonzo has 8 points, and this lead being reduced back to 12.
What they want to do, get this maybe down to 6 or so. There's so much time left in this game. And like you said, Phoenix will let you back in the game.
Barkley trying to back in now on Larry Johnson. Was kicked by Hersey Hawkins' new shot clock.
This is why I was, begging them to go inside. Look at this shot he ends up getting. Charles just gets out of his way. He's got a little finger roll from about 2 feet. I would like that Alonzo could get that shot most any time. If they double team, then he can free up one of his shooters.
Now back into Barkley against Johnson. The double team comes. Open man's Ainge. This is the 3. Larry Johnson with a rebound. A chance to cut the lead to 10.
Go inside to your big man, Muggsy. Let him get another look. It's going to be a foul on AC Green, so it'll be 2 free throws.
He had no other choice. That's a second on AC.
Awareness. Look at your big man running the floor. Reward him. AC Green fronts. He has to foul there, otherwise it's going to be another dunk for Alonzo Mourning. Alonzo Mourning now is 4th in the league in free throw attempts. Going into tonight's game, he had taken 480 free throws, and the 3 guys that he's behind are Shaquille O'Neal, David Robinson, and Karl Malone. So this guy gets to the line. More importantly, he's a 76% free throw shooter.
I was going to say he's the best of that group.
Yes, he shoots them very, very well. My goal every time I see Alonzo before games is just to make him smile. I will not go away until he smiles, and he knows that. So when he sees me, he just smiles. He says, "Now leave me alone."
He tagged you on the shoulder this morning at shoot-around, turned his back on you and walked away just so he couldn't see the smile.
Oh, yeah.
He works you over.
Oh, he does. I love Alonzo Mourning. I fell in love with this guy in the playoffs a couple years ago against the Boston Celtics and against New York. This guy is a fierce competitor.
True warrior. 6-0 Charlotte run. Until then, Wesley Person scoring from down on the block, and Wesley has 9 points.
If I'm not mistaken, he has 3 layups.
Yes. Not in his usual repertoire. Larry Johnson got off balance as Barkley kind of let him lean into it.
Absolutely. That's a good call, Bob. He took his body away from him so he couldn't feel the contact.
Blocked by Curry. Saved by Wingate. Mogs on the run. 14 feet. Muggsy won't miss that one. Back to a 10-point game. 2:45 to go first quarter. Bogues has 5 points.
They're right in it, Bob. The big thing, they just got to sustain some defense. I mean, teams are averaging 99 points a game against them, and the Suns right now are looking at about a 56, 58-point first half.
So many offensive weapons for Phoenix. 4 seconds to shoot. 2. Barkley. This is at the buzzer. Larry Johnson out to Curry. Bogues, he's pushing it. Wingate with a nice ball adjustment on the lay-in, and it's an 8-point Phoenix lead.
See, this is where you'd like to have that 20-second timeout that you took in the first minute when a guy's jumping out of bounds to stem this run a little bit on the road so you don't have to take a full timeout.
Wingate with a foul, trying to get the steal. Defensive intensity, no question about it, is picked up for the Charlotte Hornets. We have timeout Phoenix with just under 2 minutes to go second quarter.
I've always said, to get what you want in life, set your goals and go for them. Want the good stuff your family?
The perfect place for family values.
A 10-2 run for Charlotte last 2.5 minutes. We were talking about Barkley's defense.
Well, Bob, you picked this up really well. Barkley is playing low post defense, and as he turns and spins, watch Barkley get off him. He backpedals real quickly, gets away from him, and Larry Johnson said, "Where did you go?" And he has no one to jump into, loses the handle on the ball. Charles tried to do that to play before with Alonzo Mourning, and Mourning just overpowered him. That time, Larry Johnson lost his balance and missed the shot. Charles'
numbers early in this ball game. He's on target for the way he's been playing. Here's looking at you, kid. Marley at the free throw line, and Joe Klein, by the way, is in for Phoenix, number 35, sporting for this season, a new goatee. Marley's numbers coming up at halftime. The Reebok halftime report. Brent Hickman, Dick Mercedes will be in our Atlanta studios. A Michael Jordan update from Craig Sager, who's in Chicago, by the way, to have the very latest on the Jordan watch.
You can see the Hornets really trying to make Barkley play defense, trying to keep him occupied. That's really good patience that time. Inside out 3 times before Larry Johnson misses a shot. Larry is not exploding. He's flipping things at the basket.
Well, like you pointed out, it's, he's got a man just about exactly his strength and size in Barkley down there. 9-point Suns lead. 10 to shoot for Phoenix. 2-man game, pick and roll. Well defended, but Barkley's going to launch the 3 and hit the backboard. 4-on-2. Bogues.
I always felt that was the toughest shot in basketball. You're on the dead run. You got to stop. You pull up and you shoot that 10-foot jump shot. I always felt like the tendency is to pull the string on that rather than shoot it. Muggsy's made 2 of those tonight, and they're right back to 7.
Shot it pretty well off the break. You're one of the great men on the wing, I remember. Marley hits a 3.
And Marley said, "Throw up that 0 for 7 graphic again on me from 3-point line."
It's back to a 10-point lead. It doesn't seem to bother Dan if he misses, does it?
No, it can't. When you live out behind that 3-point line, you better be able to shoot the ball and live with misses because you're going to miss a lot of them.
Marley saved that one and declined. 10-point Suns lead. The Charlotte intensity on defense has been reduced.
So there's 2 in a row.
There's 2 in a row, and now the lead, just like that, back up to 13 points.
Bob, how often have I talked to you about the importance of finishing quarters the last minute and a half, 2 minutes. Instead of a 7-point game, maybe 5, you miss, and it's 13 now. It just rips your heart out.
It almost looks as though the Suns play with you that way sometimes. Let you back in for just the last couple of minutes. They've won a lot of close games this year. Marley has hit 2. He has 9 points, 2 threes.
He backs up behind the three-point line once again, and David Wingate got his hands down around his waist. When you're playing a shooter, you better get that hand up. Chances are he's going to pull the trigger. And you speak of close ball games. Phoenix is 10-0 in games 4 points or less.
Wingate from 30. Shot at 35. Barkley looks at the clock. He pulls up for 3. Count it, Charles Barkley. Oh, mercy.
So they go from 7, Bob, 3 straight threes, and it's a 16-point halftime. That's not closing out the half like you'd like to if you're the Charlotte Hornets. And if you're Charles Barkley, this gives your team a gigantic run. 9 points in the last minute, 3 threes, 16-point lead now, 62 points the Suns have scored here tonight in the first half.
Charles Barkley with 18 at the half. The Suns are explosive. Stats, look at the shooting percentage. Suns 5 of 11, but they had 3 in the last minute of the second quarter. 58 to 45%, and here's one of them.
Well, the uncharacteristic turnovers by Charlotte. I mean, they turned the ball over 11 times. They're one of the league leaders in not turning it over. And here's Charles Barkley with a follow-up in the slam. Elliot Perry gave him a nice lift off the bench. And then I thought they should have done more of this. I mean, Alonzo Mourning's got the mismatch, and he's got 2 or 3 of these kind of baskets, but they have a tendency to want to go away from him. And then Charles drives a stake right into the chest right before half. But you know what? I think the people from Charlotte might have had the last word on this Charles left tonight. This is what they had to say at halftime as he left after making that shot.
I tried to get him to write that on Charles' head, but he didn't want to go for it. 18 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 8 of 13 from the field. Barkley is playing health-wise as well as he's played in the last 3 or 4 years.
What I like is he's playing smart basketball. He's always been a smart player, but, you know, I think as he's gotten a little bit up in age or whatever, he realized he just can't take the chances that he once took before. And here's Marley starting out with a 3. So
that's 4 in a row from Phoenix, counting the 3 that ended the second quarter.
Well, that's a way to really suck the wind out of this Coliseum right here, is to hit you with a 3 to start. Now, what Charlotte's got to do is get it back little by little. They can't hit him with a big blow. They've got to just take their time and do it defensively. Look at Charles back away.
Larry Johnson has that shot on often occasions down there, as does Alonzo Mourning. 65-48. LJ with 14. Klein starting in the second half.
Look at
Steal by Muggsy.
Muggsy fronting the post, gets the steal.
Foul on the pass, and we were talking about how tough it is to post this fella up. He'll get you down there.
Bob, excuse me for laughing. Even Muggsy's laughing. This is funny. He's fronting the post, and watch Muggsy jump up and slap this ball out of here. Like, don't try to post me up.
And that ball was 6 feet off the floor if it was an inch.
That was funny.
Hawkins open from long range. That's a triple, and that'll get you back in. And now it is a 14-point Suns lead.
I think that's his first field goal of the night.
Yes, absolutely right. There was that cross-court pass. Person to Barkley.
Good morning playing Barkley. Now the jump shot will be there if Charles wants it.
And he does. Charles Barkley now with 20 points. Phoenix so explosive. They lead the league in scoring, 111.3 a game. They're right on that pace. Larry Johnson picked up his dribble too early. Yeah, he anticipated a double team, and it never came, Doug.
Very good call, and Charles is going to let him back in. Charles is going to let him score. They've got a 16-point lead, so Charles is going to be in a shootout here right now. So if Larry Johnson will take his time, he can get wherever he wants to get on the floor.
The lob inside to Mourning is knocked away, and then the foul is committed. Barkley with a nice knockaway. They tried to lob it inside to Mourning. Joe Klein picks up his first personal. 16-point Phoenix lead.
See, I think Alan Bristow has to be very careful tonight in his substitutions. Without a backup point guard, whenever Muggsy went out, Paul Westphal said, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put both of my point guards on the floor. I'm going to bring out Elliot Perry and Kevin Johnson, and you're not going to be able to defend them. So I wouldn't be surprised if Muggsy Bogues plays the entire second half because without Michael Adams there, they don't have a backup, and they don't have anybody with the speed and quickness to play either Perry or Kevin Johnson.
Larry Johnson gets 1 out of 2, 67-52. Suns by 15. Kevin Johnson, first game back after missing 2 because of a groin injury, beats Bogues off the spin dribble, and one of the best penetrators in the league. And Alonzo Mourning and Muggsy Bogues completely crossed up, and Alonzo had a look on his face about, Muggsy, aren't you supposed to catch the ball?
They are really out of sync. See, no one touched that basketball. You see Mourning looking at Muggsy, and again, Muggsy Bogues normally turns the ball over less than 2 times a game, gets over 9 assists. Tonight he had 3 turnovers in the first half with 5 assists. That's not the assist turnover we normally see. They're just a little out of sync. And Mourning's playing Barkley, so that jump shot will be there. Charles will take his time and just work to get it whenever he wants it.
The fadeaway. Klein inside position, knocked out of bounds off Klein. Charlotte ball. Let's see if they can inbound it this time. 69-52 Phoenix, 9:18 to go, third quarter.
The fans here waiting for a spurt. They're waiting for the Hornets to get a little bit of a run so they can get excited.
Well, Phoenix will give it to them if they'll take it. Mourning settles for the turnaround jumper. That's not the way he's been scoring tonight.
Somebody better get up on Marley. He's hit his last 3 threes.
Mourning. Charles takes it again. Alonzo just won't get out close enough, and Alan Bristow has seen enough. Suns by 19. Bristow is going to try to regroup the struggling Charlotte Hornets.
Right now they put Alonzo Mourning over on Charles Barkley, and Charles knows that he's going to have this jump shot all night, and it's frustrated Alonzo because he knows that if he rushes up on Barkley, he's going to drive past him, and if he stays back, he's going to make the outside jump shot. So as he went off the floor during the timeout, I mean, he was very upset, like, you know, can somebody else guard this guy so I can guard the inside defensively, maybe get inside and rebound a little bit.
Burrell kicks it out, 10 on the shot clock. Hornets down 19. Mourning against Klein. Then the double team. Boy, that's a tough shot. Barkley with the rebound.
Excellent defense that time by the Phoenix Suns. They forced him to take a very difficult shot, and they didn't foul him.
Chance to build their biggest lead even bigger. 71-52, 8:12 to go in third. Kevin Johnson missing from long range. Hawkins with a rebound to Bogues. The lob to Mourning.
See, Alonzo can do that. He has the speed to beat the other team's big man down the floor. Klein and Shays can't run with him, but Phoenix has got to miss some shots, and then they've got to rebound so they can do that. And at this point in time, Phoenix is shooting such a great percentage, they're trying to run, taking the ball out of the basket.
Wesley Person defended by Hersey Hawkins. 5 to shoot.
Better get it up.
In and out of there, Mourning with the rebound. On the run again, Bogues. Posting up Burrell against Marley.
Phoenix will let you back in the game. I know we've said it, but Phoenix will get soft defensively, and if Charlotte can get some stops on this end, they get it to 10, they'll be okay.
They can't be okay with that kind of defense. A back door as Wesley Person gets around Hersey Hawkins. Kevin Johnson delivers the ball expertly.
So now it's Wesley Person's 4th layup in the game, so it's going to make that 3-point shot much more easy for him to take because he has 4 in the bank on layups.
Double team off Burrell.
Go back inside. You got plenty of time. Let Alonzo attack.
Yes.
Just be patient. Don't go to the other side of the floor and settle for a 3-point shot.
Alonzo Mourning has 14, could have had 25 by now. Kevin Johnson misses the runner. Jump ball as Burrell hit the floor. Barkley and Burrell will jump it. Burrell has had an injury and illness-plagued recent weeks. Speaking of Alonzo Mourning.
Well, they went inside to him once, went back into him, and he gets the little running hook across the lane. But, Bob, to finish up on your point about Scott Burrell, as I was talking to the Charlotte coaches before the game, they told me that he's lost about 16 pounds.
Yeah, you can
They'd
tell.
lost about 6 during the year. Then he got the flu and lost about 10 more. And he just doesn't have his stamina back right now. And his shooting really suffered. Tonight he's playing much better.
Isolation Person against Larry Johnson. Larry Johnson, nice move.
See, nobody went for the ball. Scott Burrell could have went for that ball. Now, I know that's nitpicking a little bit. You might have to dive on the floor, throw yourself around, get this crowd into the game. When you're struggling, get some emotion out there.
Give him a little Charles Oakley. Tried to get it to Person, who had sneaked inside again. Now Bogues on the run. Hard to stop him there.
I marvel at this young guy. Bob, that guy's 5'3", and he's taking the ball inside against these guys who are average at 6'6", about 200 pounds.
8-2, Charlotte run. 5:55 to go in the third. Johnson finds the lane open. Misses the bunny shot. Back comes Charlotte.
Watch Curry for 3 during this stretch, or maybe a Burrell.
Absolutely. Burrell has 4 3-pointers in this game. Defense gets you back in it.
Well, he gets the crowd involved, and it gives you an opportunity to get out and run, and this is what happens. Muggsy Bogues gets the loose ball. He's going to take the ball all the way to the basket, the little nice running layup, and then they come right back down the floor when they force Phoenix to miss a shot. And here's Scotty Burrell burying the 3. He's now 4 of 6 from the 3-point line.
And has 14 in the game. Charlotte 7 of 10 in this quarter on 11-2 run. That's 70% shooting for Charlotte. They're getting most of them off the transition. Kevin Johnson down.
That's where you got to get out on the floor and get the loose ball. You get 2 guys down. Get the crowd involved in this game. This is a place that's a very difficult place to play. This crowd wants to get excited. 11-2 run. You got a chance coming out of the timeout, and here's a nice hustle play. Larry Johnson gets down on the floor and forces the jump ball with AC Green.
A little condensation there, aiding the Charlotte Hornets. Well-placed condensation. And we have Larry Johnson and AC Green jumping it. Burrell comes away with it, a chance to cut that 10-point lead down to 8
Now
for the Hornets.
They better go inside the morning. I guess maybe Larry Johnson, they're going to go pick and roll here.
That didn't work. Curry comes off the Larry Johnson screen. Offensive foul away from the ball on the other side of the floor on Alonzo Mourning.
And Alonzo, they weren't even on his side of the floor. He moves. That's a good call. He moved on the pick. But the ball had already gone to the other side of the floor. He really was even out of the play when he did that.
We could have gone without the call.
Sort of an unforced error.
KJ,
the last 3 times has been a little bit out of control. He's taking the ball to the basket, had a turnover, and then missed that shot.
Bogues hits Larry Johnson, fakes the distance shot. Oh, this Phoenix defense got back this time. Burrell short arms it.
See, that shot's not necessary. The 3 is going to be there if you just take your time. I know it sounds like a broken record, but Alonzo Mourning's got to get the ball inside.
Elliot Perry's about to come on the floor to give Charlotte even more problems. In a moment, 4:41 to go, third quarter, 10-point game. Kevin Johnson holding on to the ball a long time. Marley has 3 seconds. 2, 1.
That's 5 bad possessions in a row
violation
for Phoenix.
Yes.
And you know what? A good call. KJ's dribbling it too much right now.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's taking a personal challenge against Muggsy Bogues the last few times down the floor. Move the ball. That guy just pressures the ball. Give it up a little bit. Let the other people handle it.
Well, he was giving it up and posting Muggsy, and he had enough of that.
Yeah, that's true. Now, see, here, what Paul Westphal did in the first half is doing it once again. Is he going with both point guards now? So KJ will guard Curry. Let's see if they go to Curry now against KJ.
Two-man game.
There you
Curry
go.
is going to let it loose. And out of there. It's going to be Charlotte ball, trailing by 10. 4:17 to go, third quarter. New shot clock.
This game has been totally dominated by Phoenix in stretches. They lead by 10, and Charlotte's just trying to get the lead under double digits right now.
Trying to get Curry.
They're going to run KJ off a lot of screens because he's normally not a guy who plays people off the ball.
Larry Johnson fumbling the ball, but taking it hard to the hole. 8 points, Suns lead. Larry Johnson with 17. Crowd alive. Barkley with a monster drive and draws the foul.
Look at Alonzo pull the padding off the basket. He'd be very lucky here if he doesn't get a technical foul. Alonzo very upset, felt like he did not commit the personal foul.
That's his
and he
second.
took and just ripped the padding off the basket. So this bud's for you right here, and he just takes it and rips it right.
For you and me. You're so clever with words. I keep forgetting that you were all conference in English at Illinois State. I forever forget. Barkley at the free throw line with 22 points and 10 boards.
Well, that could be our Bud Pop at the top there, right?
Here is another chance for you to say the magic words.
Let's take a look here. Did he? There's a late whistle. It was a late whistle. That's what upset Alonzo Mourning.
Mourning says, I called 22nd timeout before that whistle. Charles with a chance to build the lead back to 10. And he does. 3:50 to go, third quarter. Barkley, 23 points. He's been averaging 28 a game and nearly 11 rebounds since the All-Star break. Mourning.
Go inside. Guy dropped off, and you shoot the three. That's
Curry.
Good two-man basketball.
Drains the three, and Dell has 7 points, his first triple of the game. We've got a game now. Hand check against Curry. And time to take a look again at some of our GMC scores. And Cleveland in front of Utah. Utah on a 9-game win streak, but they're playing a very tough team there. Houston on a roll right now. San Antonio having their way with Philadelphia. Denver, and this is a big game for the playoffs in the West.
That's a 2-gamer right there. Sacramento trying to hold on to their 8th spot, and Denver trying to overtake them.
Sacramento really in a slump at the moment. Danny Ainge just into the game. Punched away by Curry. 3-on-1. Burrell will go to the free throw line.
Bob, how have they turned this game? They've done it defensively. Phoenix has gotten very passive offensively with the basketball. They've gotten very stagnant. They've over-dribbled it. And when they have now, Charlotte has taken advantage of it. It's not so much that they've created a lot of turnovers, but what they've done is they've forced Phoenix to take shots against the clock.
That's 3 personals on Elliott Perry. Scott Burrell has 4 3-pointers in those 14 there. But he can hit it from 23 and 24 and 25, but a little trouble at 15.
Well, normally Scotty Burrell shoots the ball pretty well. He's a 71% free throw shooter. In fact, Charlotte is 78%, the best in the league.
Missed them both. Those were big misses. 3 minutes to go. That would have cut the lead to 5. Barkley, 14 feet away, rims it. Hornets running again.
Stop that in the open court.
Mercy past Barkley.
You marvel, don't you? Don't you marvel at the little guy? See, look at their defense. Look at them scrambling now. They're getting their hands in passing lanes. Look at this.
And the turnover. It's out to Curry. Marley comes back to steal it, and Marley and Bogues have it loose on the floor.
Got to get out on the floor.
Marley with the ball.
Look at Muggsy Bogues. Oh, my gosh. That is amazing. If he hits this, it'll go crazy.
Curry! Suns lead a 21-4. Charlotte run, 2:11 to go in the quarter. But remember, Phoenix exploded at the end of the first and at the end of the second quarter.
They have owned the last 3 minutes of both quarters, 18-1. Let's see what happens here in the third.
2 minutes to go in the period. Kevin Johnson, beautiful drive, and he draws the foul. All right, that's 3. Let's see if they explode again. Shea's back in. And here's the chief for the first time tonight, Robert Parrish.
Now you say, why haven't we seen Robert Parrish? Because Phoenix doesn't have any big guys.
Yeah.
So what you're going to see is Robert Parrish matched against Danny Sheas. He'll give him a little bit of a rest. Let Mourning get 1:57 at this quarter.
Yeah.
The timeout during the break, and then he can come back. So maybe miss 2 minutes of the game and get about a 10, 12-minute rest.
If you're Phoenix, do you make Charlotte suffer here by pulling Sheas and going to a small lineup?
You might force him to do something like that, but also you might bring in a Burrell or something, or a Hawkins. They can hit you with some three-point shooting. So I would take this matchup right now if I'm Phoenix. Sheas against Robert Parrish.
5 points, Suns lead, 1:50 to go. Third quarter. Bogues, not comfortable with his shot tonight.
He did not hit that shot in Phoenix. Again, they doubled him in Phoenix, and he shot 3 for 16.
The ball fake from Ainge, and the runner will drop. That's 5-0 Phoenix in the last 2 minutes.
This is where you really got to be, and made a point a while ago too. This is a veteran team. This should not happen to a veteran team. You got to operate the clock better than this, and you got to be able to execute.
But all of a sudden now Phoenix is also showing a little bit of defensive intensity.
Yeah, and also no shooters on the floor right now. Wingate's a slasher.
And that's the way he scores.
And you got Muggsy Bogues. So really you got one outside shooter in Del Curry. Phoenix is going to recognize that.
That was Wingate's first basket. 1 minute to go, third quarter. Charles Barkley to Ainge for 3. Not this time. Parrish with a rebound.
Somebody better get him.
Easy to say. Everybody down there going, he's your man. It's a 3-point Suns lead. Here's steal and the foul. It would have been over and back, but first Dick Pavetta got Wingate with the foul.
Is it fair to say that Muggsy Bogues is indefatigable?
If you can say it, you can say it. Try it again.
Indefatigable.
Outstanding.
I mean, he doesn't get tired. Look at this guy.
Indefatigable. Elliot Perry at the line. Bogues, 13 points, 11 assists, 3 steals. What a joy to watch him. You wonder why, again, we say we show you so many Charlotte and Phoenix games. They're entertaining basketball teams with the likes of Larry Johnson and Muggsy Bogues and Elliot Perry and Barkley. You know, it's just really fun to watch these teams play.
And again, I don't think Muggsy Bogues is going to get any rest. He better tug on his shorts right now and get this free throw because he's in for the duration. They cannot win this game if he sits down.
In the first half, Muggsy played 21 minutes. If he plays the same here, that'd be 42, and that's a lot, folks. Remember, Michael Adams out of the game with a strained left calf, and they don't have a backup point guard.
Hersey Hawkins had a tough night. He's only got 1 field goal. They really need him to play well. When he scores 17 points or more, I think their team is 22-1. They had a very tough night the other night against Milwaukee, so he struggled a little bit in his last few ball games.
Suns by 5 with 7 seconds.
This is a big
Perry.
possession.
Oh, how big that is. That's a 2. He stepped on the line. And at the end of the quarter, the Suns lead it 85-77. We will give you this note as we go away for a break. AC Green was kneed in his left thigh for Phoenix, but might return. Explosive Phoenix has been in just a moment. Mourning down deep. Goes to his left hand over Shea. Suns by 6.
Again, the good patience. Get it in, get the double team, kick it back out, and throw it right back in once again. Very seldom when you get 2 double teams on 1 possession.
Get it inside to Kevin Johnson, who that time successfully posted Muggsy Bogues.
Well, you got to really pressure the ball right now so that can't happen.
Hawkins. That's only his 4th point of the night. Hits the runner. Suns by 6. Remember, Charlotte with only half a game lead over Indiana in the Central Division, and they're hearing the footsteps of Michael Jordan in Chicago. Marley, not this time. Mourning with the rebound. That's his 10th of this game. Bogues pulls up 13 feet. Yes, count it.
You know how hard that shot is, and he makes it look so easy. I mean, he's going full speed, and he pulls right up, and it's that little floater. It's nothing but the bottom of the net. You know the guy who used to shoot that better than anybody in the league when I played? Bob McAdoo.
Wouldn't guess Bob McAdoo. Big players. Shades from 18. 89, 83, 10-17 to go in the ball game. Remember, AC Green was kneed in the left thigh in the 3rd quarter, has not returned to action for the Suns. They're going to Alonzo Mourning again. There's the double team. Who's the open man? Nobody.
Get it out now.
Off the run, Hersey Hawkins heating up. Look out, because he can get a streak going that'll hurt you.
Well, what Phoenix would like to be able to do right now with Barkley resting is try to maintain this 4-6 point lead so they can bring him back maybe at the 8-minute mark.
Nice pass, Age inside. Marley can't get it to Paul. Loose ball run down by Marley. 4 seconds. 3. They don't know it hasn't hit the rim. And Kevin Johnson banks it home for 3. Oh,
all right,
mercy.
let me pull up my stat sheet. He's now 2 for 17 from 3 on the year.
You see why. Nevertheless, as the old joke goes, the Suns, 92-85, 9 minutes to go.
It's like my golf score. They all look pretty on paper, right? No place to draw pictures.
Shays kept it alive. Morning went after it. Hawkins trouble trying to dribble on the penetration. Doesn't have the left hand with him tonight. Bogues can penetrate. Doesn't get the three-point opportunity, but he does draw the foul.
You got to recognize now when you're running at Muggsy Bogues, the last thing you want him to do is go past you. So you run out and you stop about 10 feet away from him and say, please shoot the outside shot. I'm not going to race at you so you can go past me.
The thing to remember about running at Muggsy Bogues is don't run at Muggsy Bogues.
Walk to him and stop, and maybe he'll come to you, but don't run at him.
89% free throw shooter also. We were talking about, as Barkley comes back in, the explosiveness of Phoenix when it counts.
Well, Bob, in 5 minutes and 17 seconds at the end of quarters tonight, Phoenix has outscored Charlotte 28-5.
The most impressive thing about that?
My
is your
addition.
math. Yeah.
I was all conference in math, too.
Jeez. Triple threat. All right. It is a 5-point Suns lead. There's AC. You see the ice on his left thigh.
Now, this is going to be a question. If Charlotte wins this game, it'll be that they got enough energy to finish.
Muggsy Bogues called Hawkins on that play. Hawkins saw it, got the ball, and scores at the other end. Excellent defensive communication leading to a fast break basket, and it's a 3-point Suns lead.
Looking to post up Muggsy. You got to pressure the ball here so they can't throw it in a post.
That's what they're doing. Phoenix ball, 13 on the shot. Watch Muggsy, if we got to see him on this.
That was a great help that time by Hersey Hawkins, and then Wingate comes over, and then Bogues again with a run, and he gets in the air, and he gets bailed out at the last moment and finds Hersey Hawkins. Here's
KJ, penetration, loses it. Wingate, Bogues, Wingate. Oh, it's off Kevin Johnson. Charlotte ball. Things going the Hornets' way at the moment. They're down by 3 with 8 minutes to go in this game.
They have finally become the aggressors. That's why things are going their way right now.
Looking for Morning against Shays.
Right back. There you go. There you go.
The foul, I think they'll wave it off. Do not give them the continuation.
See, Charlotte is finally doing what they need to do. Go inside. All right. Patience. Throw it outside. Repost. Get it right back, and now go quickly and get the foul.
That's the 4th on Shays. Team foul situations here in the 4th quarter. 2 team fouls on the Suns. Hornets have committed none.
Hersey Hawkins having a super 4th quarter. He's really come alive.
It's a 1-point game. They're on their feet at the Hornet High. 6-0 Charlotte run. 10 to shoot. Perry on the run. Devastating.
That's one of those, you're on the road, you're a player, the shot goes in, and the crowd goes, ooh, and sits down.
They had their pom-poms out. Hawkins.
Inside out. 3. Boy, they're milking that 2-man game right now. That's beautiful.
Hawkins couldn't find anything earlier. Started hitting the close-in shots. Now he's getting comfortable on the perimeter. We are tied. Marley can answer. Out of bounds. Barkley before he could call timeout. Charlotte's ball and a chance to regain the lead with 6:58 remaining. No wonder Paul Westphal calls this team Team Head Case. The Phoenix Suns do this so many times. They build the lead and then they coast.
Very veteran team. I expect them to collect themselves. We're in for a real great finish here in the last 6 minutes and 50 seconds.
You see there with the thigh bruise, AC Green is back on the floor.
How about
inside, Mourning, don't stop this.
Well, again, all you got to do is get the ball inside and trust your big man to make the decision. Out of the double team to make the pass or go to the basket.
Hornets have their first lead since it was 23-21. That was blocked partially by Burrell, but AC just keeps following up on it. He has 8 points, but he's favoring that leg.
You know, I think it might be good for him to be out there right now. For the more he sits over there, the more that stiffens up. Two-man game again, this time Hawkins and Larry Johnson.
Well, AC's not known as a wimp. This is his 713th consecutive game. Burrell with 4 to shoot on the drive. Missed the slam. Barkley there to change the shot. Mourning rebound.
See, they have no size on the floor right now.
Burrell, not this time.
Other than Charles Barkley, who looks to be come up a little sore right now. I don't know what's up with Charles.
He looked like he came down and sprained a knee or something, but he's down on the floor underneath the basket.
20-second timeout, Phoenix.
Oh my, everybody in the NBA holding their breath here.
I think he got hit in the head.
Yeah, he grabbed it looked like he grabbed his knee, but also his left eye maybe.
It might be cut. I see that Joe Koski's got a rubber glove on here.
Maybe an elbow. Alonzo has those sharp pointed elbows.
Watch Alonzo Mourning right here now. See if he comes down on Charles's head.
Ow.
Right there. Oh my goodness. Charles was dazed. Excuse me, he was dazed.
But now he's awake. You've had the smelling salts.
Oh,
They're
boy,
tremendous, aren't they?
Yeah, they help you find out where you are.
Thank you very much. I'm awake, but now I'm sick. Barkley will be helped off. He'll probably be okay. Easy
He's
for us to say.
Charles
Yeah, he took a real blow.
That's one of those delayed knockout kind of things. You see a lot of times in boxing where a guy gets hit in the head, looks like he's okay, and then he sort of staggers and goes down. We'll have to wait and see if Charles comes back.
Well, on the point system, we're all even here in the 14th round of this fight. 96-96, 5:48 remaining in the game.
Look at Charles right here. He just sort of says, I better sit down here before I, pass out. Boy, and you get just an instant headache.
Marley, no. Larry Johnson back in the game and rebounding. He's had a long rest. Johnson just came back in a few moments ago. Joe Klein with the foul, trying to hold on to Mourning. That's the only way he can defend him down there.
The Hornets have no team fouls in this quarter, so they can be ultra aggressive. They've got 4 fouls to give in the next 3 minutes and 35 seconds before they would go into the penalty. That's the 3rd foul on the Suns. So right now the Hornets want to keep pushing the tempo of this game. They've got it right where they want it now at home. Phoenix on the road.
Tied at 96 into Mourning. Klein fouled him last time. Who's the open man? Bogues steps in. Gets the jumper. He stepped into about 16 feet and hit it. And it's something that he hasn't been able to buy all night. Hornets by 2. Barkley still on the bench, still dazed. Ten to shoot. 5 minutes in the game. Klein, turnaround jumper. Tough one. These 2 Phoenix centers do have a perimeter game. Tied at 98. Crowd quiet. Tense in here. Larry Johnson. 3 moves and he draws the foul. Klein hammered him. There's Charles Barkley. Tonight's Visa leaderboard. How about this? Consecutive games played. AC Green 713 is 3rd, and he'll catch Johnny Kerr probably.
Well, about a season and a half for Johnny Kerr. Johnny had a terrific swing, and I played against Randy Smith, and the amazing thing about Randy Smith, that guy was lightning quick and fast, and to be able to play that kind of game and never miss, you think a sprained ankle or something, but to be able to play all those kind of games, that really says a lot.
Charles Barkley back in after being dazed by the Mourning elbow. You probably saw earlier we had a shot of Mourning going over to Charles and saying, I hope you're all right. That was an unintentional elbow, but I don't mind the fact that you missed a minute or so.
Well, you know what? And Alonzo just tapped him and he said, Charles, you okay? That's the respect that Charles Barkley commands in this game. A lot of guys don't get that kind of respect from the younger players. Barkley's a guy who's been around, and the players respect what he brings every night.
Larry Johnson, normally a pretty good free throw shooter, misses both of them. He's 77% on the year. Those are huge misses. KJ trying to back in on the very strong Muggsy Bogues. Barkley from 30.
That's not a shot you want to take coming off a head injury, though. You'd like to be able to get yourself involved, but we know Charles likes to go for the dramatic and the knockout.
Tied at 98. AC Green set down into Mourning. Open man on the one-touch pass is Larry Johnson. Mourning found Bogues, who shot it into Larry Johnson on the weak side, and he drew the foul. And now Phoenix is over the limit, and the Charlotte Hornets have committed 0 team fouls, and Cleveland snaps Utah's 9-game win streak.
Mike Fratello just keeps doing it, doesn't he?
Oh, man, coach of the year in my book. Larry Johnson, 18 points. 6 of 9 from the line. Let's check that Phoenix lineup now. 3 guards: Kevin Johnson, Person, and Ainge. Actually 4 if you count Marley. And this is about as small as you can get with a Phoenix lineup.
Well, what you're going to see right now is you're going to see screen roll and penetration by KJ with Ainge, Wesley Person, and Marley spotting up, or post play into Barkley with a three-point shooter spotting up. Phoenix is going to try to go to the three-point line here with this group.
Hornets by 2, under 4 minutes to go. 10 to shoot.
There's a three-pointer right there.
Marley from 28. Mourning with a rebound, a chance for a 4-point lead or better.
I think you have to be very careful about going to that three-point line too soon with this small lineup. They can shoot themselves right out of here if they're not careful.
They're going to look for Mourning again?
I would. He's got Wesley Person playing him. Going to throw it inside. That's 2 points right there.
Not this time. Out of bounds. Phoenix ball.
Barkley came over and forced him to change the shot. Alonzo thought he had a layup, and at the last moment, Barkley came over and got his hand up just enough to distract him. See, he had Wesley Person posted, Bob. Now watch this. I got a dunk. Nope. Barkley says, you better change this one. And then he knocks the ball out of bounds. Hornets by 2.
Well, it's been Phoenix in the first quarter. Charles Barkley, who has 24 on the night, knocking down the 3. Then in the second quarter, Dan Marley, who has 3 threes. However, has missed his last 5 in this quarter. And Muggsy Bogues, 19 points, 12 assists, and in the second half, 7 assists. No turnovers in the second half.
Well, let's talk turnovers, Bob. In that first half, 11 Charlotte turnovers to 3 for Phoenix. As Charlotte has turned up the defense, Phoenix has turned it over 9 times. Charlotte only twice.
Posting KJ, the double team. They go back to him against Bogues. 8 to shoot. There's the double team. 5 to shoot. Ainge had to throw up the prayer. Barkley! Oh, my, what a big rebound. He stepped inside of the best rebounder on the Charlotte team, Alonzo Mourning, for a big one. It's tied at the century mark.
Let's remember now, all game long, the Suns have controlled the last 2 minutes of every quarter. Looks like we're going to be tied here, or close to being tied, going into the last 2 minutes of this ball game.
Looking for Mourning. Throw the lob.
That's a bad shot right there.
Tied at 100. Phoenix is so good when it gets down to the last 2 minutes of any game. We've said it tonight, but they've won a lot of games by single digits late.
Again, no fouls, and they've gone to the three-point line once again. And here's Ainge. They've gone to the three-point shooters. Remember, Bob, I said they got a post player, a penetrator, and three three-point shooters, and they've gone to it here now at the end of this quarter to make them pay for the double teams.
Del Curry, a three-point shooter himself, looking for Larry Johnson. 10 to shoot. Johnson's going to take Marley inside. Nice move for Grandmama, and it's a 1-point Suns lead. That stopped a 5-0 Phoenix run.
Charlotte has no fouls in this quarter, so they got some fouls to waste. I don't think they should double team and give up three-point shots, though. They're going to be very, very careful and selective in what they do now, double teaming.
Phoenix over the limit, 1:47 to go.
Now they post Ainge on the jump shot.
Doesn't get the bounce. Larry Johnson to Bogues, and the Hornets have a chance to reclaim the lead. Time remaining in the game, lower right of your screen.
Marley and Larry Johnson in the post.
Way off the block, but he's going to take it in.
Yeah, but Curry's wide open for three. If he pumped that ball out, he forced it up, and Curry was standing there wide open.
Missed an opportunity to regain the lead, and Mourning steps out and fouls Barkley. That's 3 on Alonso with 1:19 to go. A tremendously wasted opportunity here for Charlotte.
Well, watch Larry Johnson's going to get the ball in the post, and as he starts to go, the defender goes back, and he's got him wide open, and he tries to force up a shot. That was a bad shot. That's 2 bad shots in a row now that Charlotte has taken in the last couple of possessions.
Person backs in Muggsy Bogues, and will get the foul. And for Muggsy, that's his first personal. And Charlotte, you think it's tough for him tonight. It doesn't get any easier. Look at this brutal stretch the next 5 games.
Well, they have Utah coming in, and they're at New York, at Orlando, and Cleveland. And you can see what they've done against teams over 500 this year. They're under 500 at 12 and 14. A little confidence builder here for Wesley Person to be on the floor, on the road, in a big ball game here. So I like what Paul Westphal has done here, 12 points and 4 assists.
And he's been taking it to the hole tonight, which is something we haven't seen a lot of already.
I don't see him making 1 jump shot tonight. I think all those have been inside.
Person gets both the free throws. And it is a 3-point Suns lead with just under a minute to go.
Now they don't
just over a minute.
They don't need a 3-point shot. Go inside the Mourning.
Double team.
Wow. Like I said, they don't need a 3, and so
Ice
Hawkins
water.
buries one.
Ice water in his veins. He ties it at 105, and that was a 25-footer from Hersey Hawkins, who has 17.
And he's quietly trying to get to that 17-point mark.
Hersey has 14 in this 4th quarter. Kevin Johnson posted against Bogues. Double team. The ball thrown away. Charlotte ball. 36 seconds to go in the game. They'll inbound at half court.
Now you got a chance here for 2 possessions to 1. If you use it, the clock, and don't score, you give Phoenix the last shot with a chance to win. If you can get something quickly, you give yourselves 2 possessions to 1.
The new everyday value menu at Sonic. Got a buck? Then drive in for a variety of great...
It's tied at 105, 36.4 to go, and Hersey Hawkins has come alive in the 4th quarter with 14 points.
Well, he's been the barometer of this team all year long. When he scores 17 points or more, they're 22-2, and the double team and the skip pass from KJ that goes past Danny Ainge again. Let's see what Charlotte gets coming out of this timeout, Bob. If they can get something within maybe 6 or 8 seconds, they've got a chance to get a 2-for-1 possession. If they use the clock and don't score here, then they give Phoenix the ball with a chance to win the game.
Larry Johnson isolated on Charles Barkley. Looking for Mourning against Shays. He's posted low. Left hand. No! Barkley! Rebound! Phoenix with 2 full timeouts. Charlotte has 2 fulls and a 20.
See, they get the last shot now to win the game.
Charlotte had their chance. Mourning missed the short left-handed hook.
Now Barkley likes to get to the middle of the floor and shoot a jump shot.
Like there. And bury it. 5.3 to go. 108, 105. Why do the Suns pay Charles Barkley as much as they do? 29 points. He got the, remember, he caused Alonzo Mourning to alter a key shot a couple of minutes ago. Got the big rebound on that play. Came down, and as Coach Collins was telling you, will hit that perimeter shot. And he not only hit it from the perimeter, he hit it from beyond 22 feet.
Well, what he likes to do is when he gets a big guy on him, and we saw this in the playoff a few years ago in Game 6 against San Antonio. David Robinson was on him, and he got David Robinson back on his heels, pulled up and hit the jump shot. So watch Alonzo. Alonzo knows he's got to give him some ground. And Charles just pulls up. Alonzo, that's great defense. He's got a hand up. He doesn't foul him. And Charles makes a sensational play. This is why he's one of the game's great players. And he does it with confidence. That, you know, I mean, look at Charles.
Well, we have 5.3 seconds left. Suns with 2 timeouts, Hornets with 1 and 1. Nobody with a foul to give. What about Charlotte, Coach Collins?
Well, here's what I do. If I'm in a position where Charlotte gets the ball in bounds and maybe they can put it on the floor, I take a foul.
I take a foul, let him go to the line. But I do not do it if it is any way possible that I can foul a three-point shooter. I tell my guys, you've got to use selection here on what you're doing. But if a guy puts it on the floor, foul him.
That's too much for them to remember.
I think you said if a guy dribbles, foul him.
Will they remember?
That's what I would say. If a guy dribbles, foul him.
Will they remember?
They take a delay of game right here.
To reset.
Warning against Phoenix.
All right, that'll give him a chance to and you see Paul Westphal over on the sideline screaming the instructions.
See, just guard outside
Looking
the
for
three-point line
Hawkins.
and make him throw inside.
They can't find him. They have to call a timeout. Hawkins tried to run on a triple curl all the way from the top of the circle on the baseline around, never could get open.
Well, see, Bob, what you do is you defend from the outside in. You get outside the three-point line, and whatever you do, you don't let a guy get on the other side of you where he can catch the ball and shoot a three. So you force him to throw the ball inside the three-point line.
We talk about Phoenix being an offensive firepower and giving up big leads, but it seems as if they can come up with defensive stops at key times, just as they did there.
They have a league best record of 7-0 in games 3 points or less. They're 10-0 in 4 points or less. So they have come up with the big plays. If you're Paul Westphal, you said, the thing I don't like about that is come playoff time, when we're playing against all these good teams, I don't want to go to the well and have to win these games in the last 2 minutes all the time.
Particularly when you're playing them 7 times in a series. 5.3 to go. Charlotte down 3. Hawkins. No. Marley rebound. It's over. The Suns on a Charles Barkley triple break the 105 tie and win 108 to 105. Barkley hit the triple with 5.3 seconds left in the game. How many times have we done Phoenix games and picked a player of the game and it turns out to be Charles Barkley? Well,